Good morning, everyone. How's everyone today? Today, we're going to deal with solving a quadratic equation with complex roots. Okay? So, in this case, where we need the quadratic formula, now a quadratic equation should be written in standard form, that is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Remember our quadratic formula? To find the roots, x is equal to negative b plus and minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So let's take, for example, our quadratic equation over here. X squared minus 4x plus 5 equals 0. So we know that this is already in standard form. So then we can find out what's going to be our a, b, and c. So those are the numbers beside x squared, x, and the c, that's your constant. That's your y-intercept, remember? So, all right, let's go back to our equation. So in this case, our a should be the number beside x squared. Now you didn't see any number here, but it is understood to be an invisible one. All right, so let me see if I could use a different color to write down that our a over here, right, is beside here. That's an invisible one. This is our b, negative 4, and this is our c, positive 5. All right, so plugging that into our equation, or quadratic formula, I mean, x equals negative b. So in this case, our b is negative 4. So you got negative 4 plus and minus square root of b squared, or b is negative 4, square it, minus 4a is 1 times c is 5. Okay, now don't forget that's all over, meaning to say all of them, whatever you get in there, should be divided by 2 times our a is 1. Right. I know you didn't see the quadratic formula over here. Let's go back over here. All right, so we're using this formula right here to find the value of our roots. X equals negative b plus and minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Right? So now after you substitute all the values, we are going to simplify. Okay, so one at a time. So let's start with x equals, now be careful, negative 4, double negative, that makes it positive 4. Okay, plus and minus square root of, right, negative 4 to the second, that's negative 4 times negative 4, that gives you positive 16, right? Minus, you got 4 times 1 is 4, times 5 is 20. So you got minus 20 all over 2 times 1 is 2. Right, just be careful. Do the 1 under the radical first. Just copy all of these. So you got x equals 4 plus and minus square root of 16 minus 20, that would give you negative 4, right? Divided by 2. Now, if you remember our lesson on square root of a negative number, Square root of negative 4, I'll write it over here, is basically equal to the square root of 4 times the square root of negative 1. Now the square root of negative 1 is basically equal to I, right? So in this case, this gives you square root of 4 times I, which is a 2I. Remember that lesson we had? So let's go back over here. Simplify. X equals 4 plus and minus. The square root of negative 4 is 2I. Now don't forget, you have all over 2. That's divided by 2. Now all you need to do is just separate them and divide each. So that would give you x equals, when I say separate, that's 4 plus 2I divided by 2. And the other root is x equals 4, the minus 2I. Minus 2I over 2. What do you think is going to be our answer here? All right, what are our two answers here? So you have, the first one would be x equals, so you have 4 divided by a 2 is 2. And 2 divided by a 2 is a 1. So that's a plus 1I, or just I. And the other answer would be x equals, so you got 4 divided by a 2 is 2 minus, you got 2 divided by a 2, 2I divided by a 2, that would give you 1I. All right, here we go. So these are your two complex roots. You got x equals 2 plus I, and the other one is x equals 2 minus I. Good.